Other interesting political news, you have an infographic of the demographics of Zohran Mandami supporters going viral on social media. Now, this part thinks you end wokeness. And he has an infographic that says, quote, among American-born New Yorkers, you have support for Andrew Cuomo at 40%. You have support for Zohran Mandami at 31%. And they have support for Curtis Silva at 25%. And that's just positioned with another chart and says, among foreign-born New Yorkers, support for Zohran Mandami is at 62%, which, geez Louise, I was going to say, I'm no accountant. However, many would say that's double. You also have Andrew Cuomo at 24% and Curtis Silva at 12%. So, yeah, pretty much when it comes to foreign-born, everyone dropped except Zohran, who skyrocketed by literally double it. And unfortunately, I see the Research Institute, but they do not give us a specific sample size for this, unfortunately. And this went very viral. Got 1.5 million views and 10,000 likes. And yeah, Zohran, I mean, the odds with Polymarket, the betting market, I mean, what is it, 90% chance he wins? That's where all the money's being placed when it comes to the betting market, as well as a lot of these anecdotal polls and surveys all have Zohran winning in a landslide, which, I mean, New York's changed a lot, especially after the pandemic. After lockdowns, a lot of libertarians, a lot of people who are right-leaning, which is crazy to think that they actually lived there to begin with, a lot of them fled New York City, which I pejoratively mispronounce on purpose because most cities are shitty, and they went to places of freedom like, Texas, Tennessee, New York, Florida, the opposite of New York. Also places that don't have no income tax and less regulation, more freedom. In other words, awesome places. So again, I think that is a contributing factor of why, New York City seems to be going even more radical. It's not just because they also shifted the demographics of the people who, ramping up the immigration of folks, Islamic folks into New York City lately. But I think it's also because a lot of people who would have previously voted for, Curtis or even Cuomo, they're gone. And some of them did expire naturally, but some of them did, just migrate to other states. I think those are the two biggest variables of why Zohran is winning in a landslide in all these polls. Again, this went pretty valid. Got 1.5 million views and 10,000 likes. And one of the first comments comes with thanks to Amelia Henderson, who says, quote, not too soon. It's a billboard says, is it too soon or can we start talking about deporting Obama's Somalias? Getting 178 likes. We also have American Papa Bear saying, quote, we have been invaded, getting 97 likes. The conservative alternative, interesting point. Now he says, quote, foreign nationals should not be allowed to vote, much less run for office. We have a serious problem on our hands that only a new amendment will solve. In the era of mass migration, this is a matter of national security. Only people born here should be able to vote, getting 85 likes. Now, the issue with his idea in terms of practicality and getting it done, getting a new amendment, that's not going to happen anytime soon. You need a majority, what is it, 60% to all vote for that? You need a big majority to actually get that passed. It's been quite some time since that's been done. And also, Democrats would hate that because obviously they lose a lot of votes. So, and there's also a lot of rhinos, pejoratively known as Republicans in name only. They would never do anything. I mean, shoot. Again, in terms of, that would be a way to stop it. Also, part of the American dream is coming here, assimilating to the culture and the ideals of the founding fathers, and, running for local office and pretty much everything except the presidential position you can actually run for. We have seen a difference in terms of culture and ideology past couple of decades, I'd argue, with less and less people who come here assimilating to the culture and the ideologies of our founding fathers. And, well, Lord knows in terms of knowledge of the founding fathers and our founding of our country and our ideals, I'm just going to say it's almost sad because in terms of, it's laughable how terrible many of the public schools are and institutions where you see the street interviews and they can't even name who the founding fathers were, yet alone the important dates or the actual importance and significance of the specifics of the Bill of Rights. You also have Paul Zupa saying, quote, New York's destiny is doomed, sadly, getting 51 likes. Arthur Eagleman says, is Kami Mandami really going to win, getting 126 likes, which, statistically speaking, he has a high propensity of that happening. Yes. He's also, I mean, his ideas are so perverse, so evil, so radical. Everything from wanting to legalize prostitution to rewording the laws, defunding the police, letting people out of jail in masses, banning guns completely, having the government control housing, having the government control groceries. I mean, you think New York's bad? You think it's bad now? It's going to get 10 times worse, which is saying something. And he claims, oh yeah, well, also have free bus fare. We're going to have a lot of free things. We'll just tax the rich more. Which, again, especially thanks to remote work. I mean, they're going to move. I keep asking folks, like, what's a compelling business reason to have your business headquartered in New York City or your employees working there? Now, it used to be, I mean, they say it's the financial capital of the world. There's all this, a lot of business there. I mean, the upside of the pandemic is people prove that you can debate efficiencies. It is now very easily impossible to work from home, logistically speaking, technically speaking. Even Silicon Valley, some of the largest tech companies on the planet, relocated out of California to great, awesome places like Texas. I mean, some of the largest companies on the planet, Oracle, Hewlett Packard Enterprise, CrowdStrike, just to name 3 of the big tech companies right off the bat. And even more of them are leaving every day. Like, what was it, 450 businesses have left California in the past 48 months? It's more than any other state in terms of exodus of people and businesses. And Mondami is just going to accelerate that even greater in New York City. I mean, it used to be the only option was the New York Stock Exchange. TXS, as we like to pronounce it here, we're going to have our own. It's already been approved. It's in process. So if he gets elected, he keeps saying that everything's going to be free. It's not going to be financially viable. None of his ideas are. But it's going to be very quick. People are going to leave in exodus. You also have Mirthful Moments saying this is a picture of an old-timey guy with the smoking pipe. It says, quote, "So let me get this straight. Everyone hates white people, but everyone wants to live where white people are." Getting 369 likes. You have Daniel Hall with the emoji of the guy shaking his shoulders or shrugging. It's a cartoon. It has Mondami labeled as airplane about to hit the Twin Towers, getting 205 likes. No Context Videos says a reminder. And it's a quote. It says, Syria was a Christian. Syria was Christian. Iran was, again, I don't usually try to butcher or mispronounce names. It's kind of just a side effect. But it's, Iran was for Zoroastrian, Pakistan was Hindu, and Afghanistan was Buddhist. These people lost their country and lives because of pseudo-secularism. Now all these nations are Islamic. This is a quote from Ayan Hersi Ali, getting 222 likes. Worthwhile Moments also says 85% of the world's refugees are Muslim. Not one of the 56 Muslim countries are taking refugees. 11 of these countries are the richest in the world. Pay attention, getting 216 likes. Joey FAFO says pretty much, and it's a cartoon with a hand labeled Democrat Party with a dog leash going to I was going to say a liberal woman. Obviously, she's liberal. She has a cow ring on her nose, thick rimmed glasses, short hair, and she's labeled liberal white woman. He's leading her. And that got 134 likes, which, yeah, in terms of who has the highest amount of mental disorders, pharmaceuticals for that, as well as voting Democrats, he says, yes, liberal white women. Let's see here. Mike C? Yeah, Mike C has a picture, well, it's a cartoon. You have Mondami, and he is labeled radical jihad, and he's putting on a mask that says socialism, getting 108 likes. Going down more and more. Let's see here. I Love American News says Pete Hegseth is right. Let's see. Now, this is apparently a quote from Secretary of War Pete Hegseth saying, quote, "Your diversity is not your strength. Your strength is your unity of purpose, our shared mission, our love of our country." Unquote. It got 96 likes. Let's see. Is this a contrarian statement? Free Thinker says, "You're a racist pig." What point you're trying to prove? Your racist insinuations are all over the place. Getting 18 likes and 62 responses was he ratioed. Nabi says, "Massive immigration is replacement." Getting 20 likes. 8 likes. Literally ratioed. Killicam says, "This literally has nothing to do with the race. This is nationality and citizenship. You are a moron with low IQ." Getting 20. Let's make it 21 likes. Let's see. MJ Orr says, "Nothing racist about wanting an American politician in an American city in America to represent American people. Super-based expectation, actually." Getting 14 likes. Like, a couple of people have the meme that's been going viral all week. It just says, "Kicks Islam out of your country," getting between 50 and 75 likes. Edward has a picture of three people sitting. The first person with a gun, and they each have a gun, gets the head of the person in front of them. First person is labeled New Yorkers. The person behind it, holding a gun to him, behind him is labeled Democrats. The person holding the gun behind them is high crime. They have Zohran in the rafters of the sniper rifle, getting 17 likes. Let's see. This is a post from the Traditional Rebellion. Says, "Makes sense given what has happened to New York City." And this is a source from the U.S. Census Bureau, and it was published in American Renaissance. It says the white population in New York City in 1990 is about 98%, and it dropped about 3 to 4% until 1950. Then it crashed 50 to 60 from 90 to 85, then 85 to 77. Then after 1970, it crashed was 77% in 1970, then 52% in 1980, 44% in 1990, 35% 2000, 2010 33, 2020 32. So it's pretty much crashing game. 85 likes. Also have Gotten Country says Venezuela before and after socialism. There's a grocery store with lots of groceries. And then after it's a grocery store with nothing on the shelves. It says it only took one generation, getting 183 likes. And again, I mean, I'm not a gambling man, but if I was, and all the people who are, again, they're all gambling 90% chance Zohran is going to win. I think, one of the variables, one of the components is the change in demographics. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so you click that button. I really appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and comments. Great way to give me some additional feedback. Let me know how to make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone, everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.